here for the party. Trust me, we just getting started. The sound, the vibe, I feel so alive. I'm only here for the party. Trust me, we just getting started.
Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be a video about the Celtic FC women's side, the Celtic Girls. And so if you don't follow the Celtic women's side, there will be more videos tomorrow and later in the week as we look towards the main team's preparation for the Cup quarter-final game against Hibs at the weekend. So today's video is going to be a post-match review of Celtic's rather disappointing 1-0 loss to Hibs. Celtic dropped to 4th place in the league. The top 6 split starts in a couple of weeks' time, and the game against Hibs was the last of the first phase of the league. As we go into the top 6, bottom 6 split, Glasgow City are top on 54 points. Hibs are equal top on 54 points, but behind quite considerably on goal difference. Then Rangers are 3rd on 52 and Celtic are 4th on 51. However, as the top 6 teams will be playing each other home and away, things get quite intense and cramped with one fixture after another. There's plenty of time for Celtic to get themselves back into the title battle, and I think Celtic, if they play at their best or near their best and take their chances, I think Celtic have a very good chance of retaining their SWPL title. However, what they can't afford is the slightly sloppy play in midfield and defence that they showed yesterday, and certainly can't miss excellent goal scoring chances as they did far too often yesterday. And today's video will be having a wee look at my own thoughts regarding the selection, the tactics, and the players used, as well as reflecting on some of the incidents from yesterday's game. Hibs started very much on the front foot. Celtic looked a wee bit unsure of who was doing what in the lineup. Back three was Emma Lawton, Kelly Clark and Celia Barclay. In midfield, Morgan Cross on the right, Lucy Ashworth-Clifford on the left, with Shannon McGregor and Natalie Ross in the middle. Then in front of them, Amy Gallagher and Mania McInerney, and up front by herself was Murphy Agnew. I have to say I was rather surprised to see Lucy Ashworth-Clifford and Mania McInerney in the same team, as neither really has terribly much pace out on the left, and neither really made much in the way of penetration or in attacking intent. And there was very, very little creativity at all down Celtic's left-hand side. Amy Gallagher in the first half especially seemed to be drifting all over the place, didn't really seem terribly sure of what her role actually was, or if she was sure what her role was, she wasn't playing it at all well, and she was a wee bit of a passenger for most of the first half. Natalie Ross and Shannon McGregor didn't get control of midfield. Natalie Ross seems to spend half her time or more facing her own goal, and frustratingly, very rarely ever gets her head up and makes a forward pass. Virtually every pass that Natalie Ross is making at the moment is a backward pass, which slows down Celtic's play. And I think overall, in the whole game, Celtic far too often were slow and allowed Hibs to get control of midfield, and Hibs defenders, particularly Papadopoulos at fullback and the centre backs, all played exceedingly well, and blocked out a lot of the Celtic chances, and Celtic, when they did get the ball moving quickly with the pace of Murphy Agnew and Morgan Cross especially, Celtic did make good inroads, but unfortunately, when they did get the ball into the box, too often the final ball was misplaced, overhit, or blocked out or cleared by the Hibs defenders. And when they did get goal chances, unfortunately, we missed them far too often. Hibs were much more efficient with their chance creation and shots. Kelsey Doherty did make a couple of good saves in the Celtic goal. Slightly disappointingly, Emma Lawton was struggling with the great pace of Tegan Bowie on Hibs' left wing, and the Hibs goal came from Tegan Bowie beating Emma Lawton on the outside, reaching the byline, good cross into the 6-yard box. However, Kelly Clark, Celia Barkley completely let Ailey Adams, the Hibs centre forward, go free, and she bulleted a header in off the bar. It bounced off the bar into the goal and then back out. Unfortunately, it clearly had crossed the line by a good few metres, and Hibs got a 1-0 lead. Hibs did, as I say, have a couple of more chances in the first half. In the second half, Hibs defended extremely well. Celtic wasted a lot of chances, and it wasn't really until Saoirse Noonan, Kit Lefersky and Abby Harrison came on that Celtic started to make real inroads into the Hibs defence, up until the point where Saoirse Noonan came on around about the half an hour to go mark. Celtic were rarely ever getting the ball to stick in the Hibs attacking zone, and disappointingly, Saoirse Noonan missed two very good chances in the second half, and in the first half, good header chance by Murphy Agnew failed to connect. Maria McInerney, with practically an open goal, headed the ball wide of the post, and a good ball into Murphy Agnew in and around the 6-yard box. Unfortunately, Murphy was unable to get a proper contact on the goal, and so in the first half, 3 excellent chances wasted. Second half, Saoirse Noonan really missed 2 very, very good chances to score, which would have equalised or put Celtic ahead. Second half, Hibs were not much with an attacking threat. Kelsey Doherty not really in much trouble in the second half. Slightly frustratingly, Kelsey Doherty, who usually does get the ball out of her hands quickly to the fullbacks, seemed rather slow, and far too often Hibs were getting themselves set up again in midfield and set up again in defence and snuffed Celtic out. Looking at the stats for yesterday's game, Celtic did have the advantage of possession, 60-40. However, Hibs had 13 shots to Celtic's 10, 5 on targets by Hibs, just 3 on targets for Celtic, 7 off targets for Celtic, 5 off targets for Hibs, with 3 shots for Hibs being blocked by Celtic defenders. Corners were 2-2, and Clackers in the Hibs goal made 3 saves, and Kelsey Doherty in the Celtic goal made 4 saves. And let's say in the first half, a couple of those saves were quite difficult saves to make. However, in the second half, both saves were pretty easy regulation saves. And in the second half, as I said, Hibs hardly threatened the Celtic goal. As I said earlier in the video, I think Celtic still have an excellent chance of retaining the title. If they play at or near their best form, they are better than any other team in the SWPL. Unfortunately, very rarely this season has everything completely clicked in the SWPL games. And several of Celtic's best performances were in the Champions League qualifiers, over in Lithuania, and particularly the 2 games against Vorskla Poltava in the final qualifier. And it does look to me that Elena Sidikou is slightly struggling to find her best 11 and fit the players into that. I was very hopeful that Emma Weston, the Swedish experienced left winger, was going to be a difference maker. However, after making her debut, she's been out injured since that time. I think getting Kit Lefersky fully back to form is going to be a bonus for Celtic, and I do hope that in future games Celtic use the pace of Lefersky down the left wing, cross down the right wing, and use Surshinen up front, possibly with Abby Harrison as a fellow striker, or using the pace of Gallagher or Murphy Agnew playing off the main striker. I think Celtic's defence is good, although I'd be inclined to use Bruno Larenko or Luana Munoz rather than Celia Barkley on the left side of central defence. And I think Celtic really need to get the central midfield under better control. And at the moment, it doesn't appear that McGregor and Ross are a particularly good partnership. And my personal preference would be to leave Natalie Ross out for a few games, push McGregor a wee bit further forward, and use Colette Kavanagh in the deeper role. And I think that will give Celtic a lot more control. The other option would be using Celia Barkley on the right side of the defence and pushing Emma Lawton into a defensive midfielder role, which I think she would be excellent at. Celtic's post-split first fixture is away from home at Hearts, a potentially quite difficult fixture, as Hearts did draw 2-2 yesterday with Rangers. And early in the season, of course, we did lose 1-0 to Hearts in a game very similar to the Hibs game. The next game after that, 2 weeks later, on the 30th of March, will be a home game against Glasgow City. I think Celtic do need to take advantage of the fact that as they have been knocked out of both the League Cup and the Scottish Women's Cup, they will have some extra time and extra weekends off where they won't be playing, whilst their other teams in the top 5 will be playing on a regular basis. And so I think Celtic need to rest and rotate, and also reinforce their tactics and get their best 11 on the pitch regularly, and develop more impact subs to change the game if things are not going so well. I have tons and tons of faith in Elena Sadiku. I think she's a very imaginative head coach. I think she has great tactical nous and ability. I think, given her young age, she is still learning to an extent the full role of being a club head coach at a big, successful club. But I think over the course of the rest of this season, Celtic will come to ascendancy and be the league winner at the end of the season. Or at least that's what I hope for, and I'm sure you all hope for something similar. As I said a wee bit earlier, Celtic's next game isn't until the 16th of March, so it does give them some time, as I say, to get things nailed down on the training pitches, get things nailed down in terms of tactics, selections and formations, and start again in the first of the 10 post top 6 split games on the 16th. That finishes things off for today's video. If you are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do click that subscriber button. Get the numbers pushing past 1200. If you have liked the video, please do click that like button and do pop your own comments in regarding the Celtic women's side into the comment section, how you see the rest of the season going, how you feel Celtic should best set up their 11 players, and any tweaks to the tactics or formations or selections that you think would work better than is happening at the moment. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.